be playing football again sooner than a lot of us thought after he decides he might want to settle with the accusers. I'll have more on that after the bumper. What's happening, everybody? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and a notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, there is news coming out of both Texans camp and Deshaun Watson camp, and this is from Deshaun Watson's lawyer, as it says Deshaun Watson is open to settling his cases with 20 plus women. I'm going to read you an article coming out of TMZ Sports. It says Deshaun Watson is open to settling with the 20 plus women accusing him of sexual misconduct, but only if confidentiality agreements are not involved. This according to his NFL superstar's attorney. The Texans quarterback lawyer Rusty Hardin gave an update on his client's legal battle to ESPN, and he's saying he's not opposed to hashing out financial settlements with accusers, but any deal has to remain public. This is a quote from Rusty Hardin. It says, quote, I do not want anybody to be saying that this guy paid off women to stay quiet. And so if there are or ever was a settlement of any kind, it would have to be public. Therefore, both sides, Watson and the women or whoever, multiple women, would be able to say to the world at large whatever they wanted. As for the accusers, lawyer Tony Busby has previously made it clear there will not be any settlement, saying, quote, it's not happening. Hardin also says 10 women had filed criminal complaints with police, adding 2 of those women are not involved in the civil case. So this story just keeps getting crazier and crazier. Hardin says the NFL has not spoken to Watson yet, but reiterated he will be fully cooperative with any potential investigation. So this is interesting because now there's potential criminal cases involved. I'm going to read that once again. Tony Rusty Hardin also says 10 women have filed criminal complaints with police, adding 2 of those women are not involved in the civil case. Now, why is that relevant? Because now we're talking about potential criminal charges being brought against Deshaun Watson. Here's the thing, though. Deshaun Watson is in the news, A, because of that, but B, also because the Houston Texans have come out and said that they are willing to trade Deshaun Watson. Now, if you remember, they weren't willing to trade Deshaun Watson at first. At first, they were, gung-ho on keeping Watson. To me, them saying that they're willing to trade Watson is that they believe he will get cleared of all of this, right? At first, I want to say they thought that they could work out an agreement and get him to come back and play for the team. I think that's out of the window. But they knew that his trade value was dirt garbage as long as these civil cases hung over his head. Now, even though there's potentially criminal charges pending, I think the Houston Texans believe, now this is just me being speculative, I think the Houston Texans believe that Deshaun Watson will settle these cases with these women, and eventually that'll be over with, and they can get fair compensation, or the closest thing to fair compensation, for a guy as talented as he is at football. So that's why I believe that these cases are pretty close to being settled. All the lawyers are talking, and the Texans are now talking. I'm going to read you an article from ESPN. It says the Houston Texans, after initially insisting that they would not trade Deshaun Watson, has shifted their stance on the quarterback's availability. Earlier this offseason, and have been willing to field offers from interested teams, sources tell ESPN. The Texans have already had preliminary discussions with other teams about Watson, who reported to training camp. So Watson is in training camp, by the way. So Watson has reported to camp because he didn't want to get fined. He wanted to keep all his bread. He's making $39 million a year. I ain't mad at him. I say, hey, protect the money, buddy, especially if you about to dish out 20 plus settlements. Yeah, you need to get as many checks as possible. You don't need to take any more fines because they about to hit you real hard in the wallet over those 20 plus sexual assault allegations. It says, although the talks have not reached a significant stage as of Monday morning, the Texans are willing to trade Watson before the start of the season if they find the right match and the right suitor. So, to me, there's a few things at play with this. Once again, Watson reported to camp. That means he is practicing with the team. That is because if he didn't report to camp, it was going to be a $50,000 fine every day that he missed a day of practice. He can't do that right now. If he's about to settle 20 civil cases or 20 plus, I think the number had gotten up to 22. If he's about to settle 22 civil cases, he needs every single dollar he can get. He makes a lot of money, but he needs all of it because he's about to write a couple checks, more than a couple checks, a lot of checks. So he needs to collect all his dust. That's why he reported to camp. The fact that the Texans are now willing to trade him lets me believe that they believe those checks that Deshaun Watson is going to write is about to be written very, very soon. Busby was capping. He was lying earlier in the investigations and saying, we're not going to settle. We're not going to. That's cap. Like he was willing to settle because you could take this to court and lose, or you could get Watson to settle because Watson still has a career. He still wants to play football. So he's going to be willing to write those checks. All these women are going to get paid. And some form of justice, if that's your sense of justice, people getting paid off is going to be served, I guess. But Watson needs to collect every single check he can get out of the Texans. The fact that the Texans are now willing to move Deshaun it tells me that they believe that will be taken care of very quickly, like sooner than later, because they want to get rid of him before the start of the season. His trade value starts to decrease. I guess kind of he's locked up on the contract, but as soon as the season starts, if you run the risk of injury, you run anything happening, your value starts to go down the closer you get to the season. So they want to get Deshaun Watson in someone else's training camp and out of their hair, especially. So as soon as those checks are signed, I believe Deshaun Watson will be traded, and I think he'll have I don't know if he'll play this season after all of this. I'm not going to lie, because the NFL does its own investigation, and you don't have to be convicted of a crime to get suspended from the NFL. We saw that with Zeke. We saw that with plenty of other NFL players. They were never convicted of crimes, but the NFL is judge, jury, and executioner. So they do whatever the hell they want, no matter who you are. So that is something to look at. But the pending criminal charges are still hanging over Watson's head, but they sound pretty confident that they'll be able to handle all of that without him getting convicted or charged or even serving any jail time. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Deshaun Watson, though, is back playing football and is starting to get checks once again from the Houston Texans. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments on the Deshaun Watson saga, because it's not over. This is just the latest episode. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss Channel in Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time. And follow me on Twitter. I post content on there all the time. Peace.
Victory.